In this lesson, we are going to learn a new rule for taking derivatives. So remember that derivative is slope, and we have these 10 basic derivative rules that we learned in class. So these should be in your notes, but if not, hit pause and copy down the 10 basic derivative rules. So now I want you to find the derivative of 3x times 4x. At this time, we do not have a rule that tells us how to find the derivative of a product of functions. So, the best thing that we can do right now is to algebraically simplify 3x times 4x and then find the derivative. So we're first going to simplify the expression 3x times 4x is equal to 12x squared. And now we can take the derivative of 12x squared. We get 12 times 2x, and this simplifies to 24x. But what if we were working with more complicated functions that we were not able to algebraically simplify to start? This is where we would have a product rule. What do you think the product rule for derivatives would look like? So take a moment and write down a guess. Many people would guess that the derivative of a product is equal to the product of the derivatives. So the derivative of f of x times g of x, they would think that it equals the derivative of f of x times the derivative of g of x. Well, let's check our last example against what we think the rule for products would be. The derivative of 3x times the derivative of 4x is equal to 3 times 4, which equals 12, and that is not equal to 24x, which is what we found the derivative to be. So that means the derivative of a product is not equal to the product of the derivatives. So make sure this is written somewhere. The derivative of a product is not the product of the derivatives. So here is the product rule. If I have the product of functions f of x times g of x, the derivative is the derivative of the first function times the second function plus the derivative of the second function times the first function. So in words, the derivative of the product of f of x and g of x is equal to the derivative of the first function, f of x, times the second, which is g of x, plus the derivative of the second function times the first function. So the derivative of a product is equal to the derivative of the first function times the second plus the derivative of the second function times the first. Checking this against our example, we were taking the derivative of 3x times 4x. So the derivative of 3x is 3 times 4x plus the derivative of 4x, which is 4 times 3x, And that simplifies to 12x plus 12x, which does equal 24x, which is what we found before. Let's do another example. Find the derivative of y equals 2x plus 3 quantity squared. We did this example in class together, and we first expanded the square of the binomial. So we found 2x plus 3 squared equal to 4x squared plus 12x plus 9, and then the derivative is 8x plus 12. Now let's do this problem where we use the product rule. So we are going to write 2x plus 3 quantity squared as 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. And I refer to these as the first and the second. And yes, in this case, they are exactly the same. But when we are taking the derivative of a product, we take the derivative of the first times the second plus the derivative of the second times the first. So here we have the derivative of 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3 is going to be the derivative of 2x plus 3, which is 2, times the second, 2x plus 3, plus the derivative of the second, which is 2, times the first. And so we end up with 4 times 2x plus 3, and that simplifies to 8x plus 12. So we do get the same derivative. No matter which derivative rule you are using, you will end up with the same result. Let's do another example with polynomials. Find dy dx, where we have y equal, I forgot to write y equals, where y equals x squared minus 3x plus 7 times x cubed minus 1. Again, we think about these two functions as the first and the second. So we will use the product rule. The derivative of the product is the derivative of the first times the second plus the derivative of the second times the first. Stop right there. There is no need to simplify this expression. If I am asking you to demonstrate that you understand the product rule, all I need you to do is to write down the different factors and then put a box around it to say that you are done. You do not need to do the simplification. Now, if you wanted to, you could. Oops. I lost my... There we go. Okay, so if I did want to multiply this out and simplify, I end up with 2x to the fourth minus 2x minus 3x cubed plus 3 plus 3x to the fourth minus 9x cubed plus 21x squared, and that equals 5x to the fourth minus 12x cubed plus 21x squared minus 2x plus 3. But this is not necessary. I just know that some people really like to see the simplification of the expression. Okay, let's do one more example together. Let f of x equal x squared times sine of x. We want to find f prime of x, which is the notation for finding the derivative of f of x. We are going to use the product rule. The first factor is x squared. The second factor is sine of x. F prime of x equals 2x times sine of x. So that's the derivative of the first times the second, plus the derivative of the second times the first, which is cosine of x times x squared. And it's tradition to write the factors in front of the trig functions, and so I'm just going to rewrite it as 2x times sine of x plus x squared times cosine of x. And that is the product rule.